Hello everyone. Hope you are doing well. I am Akshay Parmar, Assistant Professor at LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology in IT/IC department. Today we will discuss an important data structure topic, the line coding techniques, right? So today we will see an important data structure topic, line coding, right? So outline of this today's video lecture is what is line coding, why we are using the line coding techniques. After that we will see some properties of the line coding techniques and see the classification about the line coding techniques. After that we will see the one type of the line coding technique. This is unipolar technique, right? So let's start with the line coding techniques. So what do you mean by the line coding techniques and what does it mean? So binary ones and zero such as in PCM signaling may be represented in a various serial bit of signaling formats that is called the line codes, right? So the simplest way to represent the that bits is 1 is by the square plus and 0 by the 0 voltage, right? But the simplest one is not always a good enough, right? So also a long sequence of the 0 that may appear as a data loss of the transmission. In order to take care of this and many other requirements, the symbols are transformed into the various different wave shapes, a process named a line coding technique, right? Different wave shapes results in a different spectrum suiting on the different needs, right? So here, hence in this way, line codes are also spectrum shaping codes, right? So mapping of the binary information, or we can say that the sequence into the digital signals that enters in the channels, such as the 1 maps to the positive square waves and 0 to the negative pulses, right? So in order to fulfill that, the line coding techniques must require some specific requirement, right? So there are some specific requirement here. There are some predefined specific requirement system requirements are there. So transmitted power and the power consumption is the major requirement of the line coding technique, right? So after that, the bit timing line code selects to meet some space system requirement like transmitted power, bit timing, bandwidth efficiency, low frequency contents, such as the low period of the positive or negative cause a single drop and all that. After that, the error correction and error detection, complexity, or we can say the cost, right? So power, transmitted power or power consumption is a major requirement of the line coding techniques. After the bit timing, the transition in a signal help the timing recovery. That's why we need that, right? So after that, the bandwidth. After that, the bandwidth efficiency. The excessive transition waste the bandwidth, right? Bandwidth efficiency. So excessive transition waste the bandwidth and low frequency content. Some channels block the low frequencies because long period of the positive or the negative causes the signal to drop, right? So waveform should not have the low frequency content, right? So error detection, right? So ability to detect an error if there are an error in the transmission, so we can easily detect that if there are the error there, right? So that's why we need a line coding technique. That's why we are using the line coding technique. The complexity and the cost is the code implementable in the cheap at the high speed, right? So that are all the basic requirement for the line coding techniques. There are majorly two kind of line coding techniques. Return to zero and non-return to zero. With the return to zero coding, or we can say that the RZ coding, the waveform return to the 0 volt level at the portion, or usually at the 1/2 of the bit interval, right? Where in the non-return to zero, the waveform is not returning at the zero position. So as we have discussed, why we are using the line coding techniques, right? So there are so many reasons to use the line coding techniques. Each of the line codes you will examine offers the one or more of the following advantages here we are listed here. So spectrum shaping and the reallocation without the modulation or filtering is the major task of the line coding techniques, right? This is important into the telephone line application. For an example, where the your transfer characteristic has the heavy attenuation, spectrum shaping and the reallocation without modulation or the filtering. This is important in the telecommunication line application. For an example, where the transfer characteristics is has a heavy attenuation below 300 hertz. So at that time we need some kind of amplification and all that, right? So if we have used the line coding techniques, so there are the less need of the amplification and all that, right? So after that the beat clock recovery can be the simplified using the line coding techniques. So DC component can be the eliminated. This is allow the AC coupling between the stages, right? So it can control the baseline wander. It can control the baseline wander. The baseline wander shifts the position of the signal waveform relative to the detector of the threshold and the lead to the several erosion of the noise margin, right? So DC component can be the eliminated. This allows the AC coupling between the stages, can control the baseline wander, right? So this is why we are using the line coding techniques. The error detection is the major fundamental reason to use the line coding technique, right? So line coding techniques have the very good error detection capabilities, right? So bandwidth usage, the possibility of the transmitting the at the higher rate than other schemes over the same bandwidth, right? So with the use of the line coding techniques, we can transfer more data in similar kind of the bandwidth, that limited bandwidth, right? At the very least, line code encoder serves as the interface between the TTL level signalings of the transmitter and those of the analog channels, right? Likewise, the line code decoder serves as an interface between the analog signals of the channel and the TTL level signals required by the digital receiver, right? So that's why we are using the line coding techniques. There are some properties of the line coding techniques, such as the self synchronization, low probability of the bit error, power spectrum density, bandwidth, and all that, right? So let's see the self synchronization first. So it should be the possible to recover the clock pulse from the received data, right? The clock should not be lost even in case of the long sequence of the zeros or ones. The self synchronizations where the timing information is the extracted from the received signal itself, right? So whenever we are sending a signals and it have the long sequence of the zeros and ones, so that might be so it seems to be the data loss, right? So self synchronization is the basic fundamental property of the line coding techniques. After that, the low probability of the bit error, it should be the convenience to the design at the receiver side, right? Which receives the specific line code and the result a low probability of the bit error, right? It should be the convenience to the design receiver, which receives the specific line code and result a low probability of the bit error. PSD, we can say that the power spectral density, the spectral of the line code should suit the physical medium, right? After that, the bandwidth, the basic was property of the line code. The bandwidth of the line coded signal should be the low, right? So for the line coding technique, the bandwidth should be the low. No DC, right? So DC power content should be the ideally zero to enable the AC coupling, right? So as we are using the AC coupling in the line coding technique, so we require the DC power as less as possible, right? So no DC power is required. So DC power content should be the ideally a zero to enable the AC coupling here, right? So low frequency power, the power at the low frequency should as low as the possible. To suit the channel coding, the line code should be such that the subsequent coding for the error detection and the correction may easy, right? So this is the basic property of the line coding techniques. After that, the power efficiency, it requires the transmission power should be the small, right? The transparency, the line code should be the such that any sequence of the zeros and ones must have only a one interface, right? So this is the basic properties of the line coding techniques. After that, line coding, right? The binary data can be the transmitted using the number of different type of the pulses, right? The choice of the particular pair of the pulses to represent the symbol 1 and the 0 is called the line coding, right? Let's repeat. Binary data can be the transmitted using the number of the different type of the pulses. The choice of the particular pair of the pulse to represent the symbol 1 and 0 is called the line coding, and the choice is generally made on the ground of the one or more of the following consideration. it presence and the absence of the DC level, right? So as we are using the AC levels for our line coding techniques, so power spectral density, the particularly it is a value at the 0 hertz, right? So power spectral density, particularly it should be at the 0 hertz. So the bandwidth is the major requirement, right? So BER performance transparency, we can say that it is a property that any arbitrary symbol, or we can say that a bit or a pattern can be transmitted and received, right? So this is all about the transparency, the as of the clock signal recovery for the symbol synchronization, presence and the absence of the inherent error detection properties, right? So after the line coding, pulse may be filtered or otherwise the shape to the further improve their property, right? For an example, their spectral efficiency and immunity to inner symbol interface, right? After that, let's see the classification about the line coding techniques, right? So there are majorly the waveform of the line code may be the further classified according to the rules it's used to assign a voltage level to the represent the binary data, right? So majorly there are three kind of the line coding techniques: unipolar, polar and bipolar, right? So in the unipolar there is a subtype also, the NRZ, non-return to zero. After that, in the polar, the non-return to zero, return to zero, and the biphase. In the biphase, there are the Manchester techniques and the differential Manchester techniques is there, right? In the biphase, it is the subpart of the polar. In the biphase, there are the Manchester technique and the differential Manchester technique is there. Right after that, the third part, the bipolar. In that, EMI and the pseudo ternary is the type of the line coding techniques of the bipolar, right? So let's see one by one. The waveform for the line coding techniques may be the further classified according to the rules that is used to assign the voltage level to represent the binary data. Some of the examples include the unipolar signaling. In the unipolar signaling, in positive logic unipolar signaling, the binary 1 is represented by the high level, or we can say that the plus A voltage, and the binary 0 by the 0 level, right? So this type of the signaling is also called an on and off key, or we can say that a double OK, right? So this is about the unipolar signaling, right? So polar signaling, the binary ones and the zeros are represented by the equal positive and the negative level. And in the bipolar signaling, or we can say the pseudo ternary programming, the binary ones are represented by the alternating the positive and the negative value, right? The binary 0 is represented by the 0 level, and the term pseudo ternary refers to the use of the three encoded signals level to represent the two level data, right? So two level binary data. This is also called a alternate mark inversions, or we can say that the AMI signaling, right? Manchester signaling. Each binary one is represented by a positive half bit period pulse followed by a negative half bit period pulse, right? Similarly, 0 is represented by a negative half bit period pulse followed by a positive half bit period pulse, right? So this type of signaling is called the split phase encoding, right? Or we can say that the Manchester encoding. This type of signaling is called the split phase encoding, right? After that, the polar NRZ, or we can say the polar non-return to zero. It is also called a NRZL, where L denotes to the normal logic level assignment, right? NRZL is similar to unipolar in that the voltage directly depends on the bit it represents. The positive voltage generally represent a 1 and the negative voltage represent a 0, or a vice versa, unlike a unipolar system, right? So NRZ eliminates the problem of the DC component. The bipolar RZ, or we can say the bipolar return to 0. It is also called a return to 0 AMI, where AMI denotes the alternate mark inversion binary one, right? So binary bipolar NRZ is also called the NRZM, where M denotes the inversion of the mark binary one, right? So this is about the classification about the line coding techniques. Let's see the unipolar signaling in brief. Unipolar signaling is called the on-off keying, right? As we have seen, right? Double OK is the type of the line coding in which one binary symbol represent a zero. For example, is represented by an absence of the pulse, right? Or we can say the space, and the other binary symbols denoting a one is represented by a presence of the pulse, right? Or we can say the mark. There are two common variation in the unipolar signaling: non-return to zero and return to zero, NRZ and RZ, right? There are two common variation of the unipolar signaling: non-return to zero and return to zero, right? NRZ and RZ. Unipolar non-return to zero, NRZ, is the duration of the mark plus is equal to the duration of that symbol slot, right? As you can observe in this figure that the duration of the pulse is equal to the duration of that bit, right? Here you can say this, see this is one bit, and the duration of this signal is also the same as the duration of that bit. A similar kind of way you can observe that in the negative wave, or we can say the zero. The duration of that pulse is equal to the duration of that bit, right? So this is how the unipolar non-return to zero is there, right? So advantages and disadvantages about the unipolar NRZ. It is simplicity in the implementation, right? So it is really simple to implement practically, right? So it doesn't require a lot of the bandwidth for the transmission. This is a major advantage of the unipolar NRZ. The disadvantage of this technique is the presence of the DC level is there, right? So it indicates the spectral line of the 0 hertz and all that, right? So it contains the low frequency component. It contains a low frequency component. It causes the signal drop. Doesn't have any error detection capabilities, right? So it doesn't possess any clocking component for the aids of the synchronization. In the transparent, the long string of the zero cause the loss of the synchronization, right? So this is the advantages and the disadvantages about the unipolar non-return to zero. This is the figure of the PSD of the unipolar NRZ. Where unipolar non-return to zero, we can say that the unipolar NRZ signals are transmitted over the link with either the transformer or the capacitor coupled repeater. The DC level is removed and converting them into the polar format, right? The continuous part of the PSD is also a non-zero or at the 0 hertz. For an example, it contains a low frequency component. This means that the AC coupling will result in distortion of the transmitted pulse shapes. AC coupled transmissions lines typically behave like a high pass RC filter, and the distortion takes the form of an exponentially decay of the signal's amplitude after each transition. This effect refers as a signal drop, and it is illustrated in the figure below, right? So as you can observe that this is the pulse 1, after the 0, after that you can observe that there is the 1, there is a serial of the bit 1, right? So that's how you can lost its signals, right? So from the 1 its signal strength is decreasing. Here you can observe in the figure that that is the data loss, right? So by the time if we have the similar kind of the frequency of the one particular bit, there here you can observe that here in this figure we have the series of the 1, right? So in the from reaching at that level, it is decreasing its amplitude, right? So that's how it is losing its power. Return to zero. In the unipolar return to zero, the duration of the mark plus t is less than of the duration of that particular bit, right? So that particular time slot. The typically RZ pulse fill only the first half of the time slot, and other part is returning to the zero at the second half, right? In this figure you can observe that this is the actual time duration of this particular bit, 1 bit, right? So to represent this 1 bit, we have the only the half portion of this bit duration, and we are representing that 1 bit at the only the on the half portion. Other half portion is represented and returned to the 0. Similar kind of way, whenever we are representing the zero, to represent the zero, the bits are already at the zero at the first half, and after in the other half the bit represent the return to the zero, right? So this how you can represent the one in this formation. And so as RZ pulse fill only the first half of the time slot to represent that bit, and the other half is always returned to zero. Here you can observe in the 1 bit and the 0 bit, the first half will represent that bit. So as we are representing the bit 1, it will the high in the first half, and if we are represent the in the bit 0, it will not high, it will be remain at this ground level 0, right? So there, this is how you can use the returning to the 0 technique. So here you can observe that while we are representing the 1 0 1 0 triple 1 0 0 0. So for first of all, we are representing the first half of that bit slot to represent that bit. So 1 will be represented by this way. After that, the 0 is there. So to represent that 0, we don't require the height. So it will be remain at the ground level, and the first half, and in the second half it will return to the 0, which will already at the 0 level, right? So there is no need to the height. After that, another 1 is there. So to represent the 1, the first half of the bit duration is taken to represent that bit. It will be high at the positive voltage, and after that in the second half it will be returned to the 0 in the second half, right? After returning to the second half, the 0 bit is there. So it is already at the 0's position. So to represent the bit 0, we don't need any height, so it will remain at the ground level. After that, in the second half, we are already at the 0 level, and we need to return to the 0. They are already there, right? So that bit is also at the ground level. After that, the 1 1 1 is there, right? So to represent the first one, it will be high in the first half, and in the second half it will be returned to the 0. After that, 1 is there, right? So there also it will be high in the first half, and after that in the second half it will be returned to the 0. The similar kind of way, all the bits are represented in the return to 0, right? So this is about the how the return to 0 portion is there, right? So here you can see that in the first half, the bit is represented in the two halves. The first half is represent that bit, and second half will be returned to the 0 at every bit, right? So here you can see that this bit is returned to the 0. After that, in the 0's bit, in the second half, it is also returned to the 0, right? So the first half will be first half of the time slot will be represented the bit, and the second half will be the returning to the 0 for the second half, right? So unipolar return to 0 advantages. It is advantages and the disadvantages of the unipolar return to 0, because it is the RZ. Its implementation is really simple. The presence of the spectral line at the symbol rate, which can be used as a symbol timing clock signal. The presence of the spectral line at the symbol rate, which can be used as a symbol timing clock signal. The major disadvantages about the unipolar return to 0 is the presence of the DC level. It indicates the spectral right at the 0 Hz. The continuous part of the non-return to 0 at the 0 Hz causes signal drop. As we have observed that bit 1 is represented by the first half will be the high, and second half will be the returned to the 0. But while we are representing the 0 bit, it will be remain at the ground level, right? So it will be remain as same. If we have the long sequence of the 0, at that time we may have the signal drop. It doesn't have any error detection capabilities, right? So it occupies the twice as much as the bandwidth as the unipolar non-return to 0. It is not really transparent, right? So this is the PhD chart. This is the PhD chart of the unipolar return to 0. Right? So this is all about today's session. We have seen the line coding, why we are using the line coding techniques. After that, we have seen the properties of the line coding techniques and see the classification of the line coding techniques, right? So, and in the line coding techniques, we have seen the unipolar signaling in brief, right? So this is all about today's session. So thank you for the watching.